So normally I try to, not like be so serious on a lot of things that aren't video game related topics with this channel, but I just watched Alpha Omega Sin's video about this, and well, pretty much I shouldn't be so shocked by what I read and from the video that I saw that he did. Because honestly, yeah, it happens all the time, and it's disgusting that it does. But still, when you hear about it, this specific story is really fucked up. Kid down in Pennsylvania, mentally challenged student, was getting bullied and picked on in school. The principal, the teachers, nobody was doing anything. Nobody was doing anything to help him, much like how that goes with school itself. Nothing was being done to help this kid. So this kid with a learning disability, much like me, I have a huge, severe learning disability. Kid decides to be smart, and he records what is being said to him in the school. Now, mind you, the teachers are also there too. The teachers know exactly what's going on because their voices are on the recording. Still nothing is done. So the parents take the audio to the police. The police say, well, we should bring in the judge and everything, we gotta do this. They charge him with a felony wiretapping. And I don't... How do you literally sit there and think that that's acceptable? Like, you think that's a problem compared to what's going on? I know, like, recording stuff in some states is illegal, like, without proper use, maybe in all states now. But this kid took matters into his own hands. A kid who's got a learning disability was smart enough to do something where he didn't go into the school and shoot anybody up. He didn't start throwing around rumors. He didn't throw a fist. He didn't injure anybody. He did the smart thing, and he did that. He brought them the proof that they needed to hear. The concrete evidence that he was being picked on. Undeniable proof. And the judge is going to charge him. I can't really even form words. I mean, this shit is unacceptable, for one thing. And I know a lot of people are probably saying, well, there's worse things going on in the world. And it was like, and with shit like that, when you say shit like that, you say that because the shit that's going on in this world now would have been stopped. Not all things, but certain things could be stopped. Shit like this can be nipped in the bud so easily if you're willing to do something about it. If you stop being a fucking pussy for 5 seconds, you stop worrying about this, you stop worrying about that, and you take action. Now, mind you, there are terrible fucking people out there in this world. Terrible, horrible human beings. And most of them have a seat of power, such as this case down in Pennsylvania. The judge, the cops, the teachers, the principal, all of them should have their jobs taken away from them and never be allowed to do that said job again. Pensions, everything, gone, taken away. This kid did something different that a lot of kids don't do. One, he got the stones to get up and do this, and he recorded everybody. 2, he didn't injure anybody. He didn't hurt nobody. This kid is being tortured for God knows how long. But he did the right thing. Now, I will tell you right now, like, as a special needs child in school was very hard for me. I myself was bullied a lot. I was picked on by not only just the students, but the teachers. The teachers that I had for many, many years made my life a living fucking nightmare because I was not on the learning level of everybody else. So what I did was, now I was a class clown. I acted up, I told jokes, made people laugh and stuff, but I was never disrespectful. Anything. But the big thing I always did was I always drew because I was tired of trying to do the work that I didn't understand. And I like spending hours and hours and hours trying to do homework and watching, my parents who didn't know how to help me because they didn't know a lot of the stuff because it had changed since they were in school. They didn't know how to help me. So that made them feel worse, which in turn made me feel worse because my parents were suffering like I am. One of the worst years I ever had. And this is another example of why there's teachers out there that should not be teachers. When I had entered 3rd grade, when I graduated from 2nd grade, before going on summer vacation in my school, they brought you to your new class, and you met your new teacher for the next year. She read off all of our names, and when she came to mine, she goes, "Do you have an uncle named Sam?" And, you know, she said my last name, and I said, "Yes, I did." And she goes, "Oh, alright then, moved on." Get back from summer vacation, having that teacher, that was the worst year of my life with school, pretty much. Because that woman made my life a living fucking nightmare. Every day in that class was a nightmare. We had set up the classroom. Originally, there was a lot of us in the class. Each group had 4 desks clumped together because they were those old desks with the things that you could you slide your hands in to pull out your stuff and all your books and everything. We were in groups of those, and at one point she decided to put us all in some kind of big like horseshoe U. She didn't like me. She used me as an example all the time. She moved my desk into the middle of the room so everybody could stare at me, and she pretty much used me as an example. Come years later to find out that my uncle was a complete asshole to that teacher and made her life a living nightmare. So she took revenge on him through me. Now that's not fair at all. I had principals and teachers who thought that I was a bad student and a horrible person, which in turn was not the case. My 2nd grade year and my 5th grade year were really good because I had teachers who cared. Years went by, and shit got worse for me as school went on because I got more teachers who were just so old they shouldn't have been teachers anymore. They didn't have the patience, they couldn't teach them, and don't start throwing out there, well, there's a lot of kids in classes these days and everything, maybe they just can't help everybody. Then you hire somebody else. You throw another teacher into that class, because when I got to high school, there were some classes like that where there weren't really a lot of kids, like the ones that some classes maybe had like 10, 15 of them, some of them were more about like 20, 25, even one class I remember had 30. But we had 2 teachers, and that's how it worked. But there are teachers out there that I have personally dealt with, and punks that abuse their power and get away with it. And this is the same way. This kid does the right thing, and he fucking does nothing. He gets in trouble for doing the right thing. Everybody else gets off scot-free. It's just showing that there's people out there who think they're above the law when they have power in law. Now, this is disturbing because as a parent, what do you do? How do you deal with this? How do you make sure that nobody messes with your kid? This is the stuff that, is mind-boggling, because, in the last, year, they've had, these anti-bullying things saying bullying needs to stop. One should be taught at home, like Alpha Omega Sin said, and I agree wholeheartedly with that. You've got to teach your kids about bullying and how you're not supposed to do that, and you stick up for other people. And that's what I did, and I used to get fights all the time. In my high school, it was the same crap. I got into fights, I knocked people down because nobody would help me. In my shop, it was photography and art and everything like that, I got made fun of a lot. And now I was the strongest kid in that shop, and people just loved to push my buttons, to which the teachers never did anything. Told her a million times that they need to stop this, told the principal, nothing happened. So one day, I just went up to the kid who kept causing me problems and thought it was funny, pulled the chair out right from underneath him. Pretty bad idea, yeah, because, he could have whacked his head and paralyzed himself, but at the same time, hey, nobody was helping me out. Nobody was doing anything. They would talk to him with no, real threats being made. Nothing would happen. So, the only reason why I got off that thing scot-free was because the dean of the shops, the guy who controlled all the shops and everything like that, he was second man towards principal status. He found out that the guy who trained me was the same guy that he had in his shop when he was the construction teacher years and years and years ago. So he realized that I couldn't have been a bad kid if that man trained me, because he wouldn't train an asshole. So, I did get suspended, which I shouldn't have been, because I didn't do anything wrong. I just did what they didn't do. But I fought kids on the bus, I defended other kids and everything, and honestly, it's sad that it has to come to that. But it brings me back to the point where people are saying there's worse things in the world. When it's small stuff like this, not that it's small stuff, but you know what I mean, it's not on the grand, larger scale yet to where the person escalates to going into the school and shooting up the people that fucked them over and then end up, hurting innocent bystanders. Which I'm not saying, you should go into a school and shoot up the people that are fucking with you and stuff like that. But it's really fucked up. It's just really fucked up on so many fucking levels, that these judges, cops, principals, and teachers are getting away with this shit. Personally, I think that they should all be fired. If this was the old days, you could probably stone them to death. But personally, I think the right thing should be done. I think the parents should go above that law system, get a damn good lawyer, and fire back at these people, because there's money to be made in this lawsuit. Now, obviously, it's not going to help with the problems and stuff like that, but when you screw with people like that, anything, you know, one, this kid's, like I said, mentally challenged and everything. He's got a learning disability. Two, he's probably a nice kid. The family's probably really nice and hardworking and do everything they can, and then this shit happens. You gotta do the right thing and keep fighting this. Because if you let stuff like this go, or, like, you know, you think you might be exhausted and can't go anymore, stuff like this is probably happening all over the country, obviously, and probably all over the world. There's no doubt about it. But when you make a big stink about it, people will notice. And the support you'll get is unreal. And the right people will come in and hopefully do the right thing. Like I said, it's just fucking mind-boggling, though. Just bullshit. Everything. Because like I said, you know, they try to teach people to be better people and stop bullying and stuff, but they don't do it because there's no repercussion for these bullies. And maybe they have fucked up lives themselves, and that's the only way they know how to do it and shit, but I noticed it growing up a lot, that a lot of the kids who had learning disabilities like I did were thrown into places where society didn't care about them. My school was pretty much like that. It was a trade school. Do 1 week of what you want, like construction, or if you went there for photography like I did, or stuff like that. It was called the zoo for a reason, because a lot of the surrounding towns, because about 5 to 7 different towns, I remember, if I remember correctly, I think it's more now, all went there, and it was a clash of culture, and there was a lot of problem children in that school, because many of them either had learning disabilities or they were just bad children. So you lump them all together, and you don't do anything. You don't deal with it. You just let it fester like a fungus, and then these kids get tormented. So, I know I'm ranting on about it and everything, but it's just something that, you know, hits home hard. And it's just unacceptable. Any way you look at it is unacceptable in any form or shape. There's no defending this. If you're literally going to charge this kid for illegal wiretapping, really, maybe you should step off your fucking bench, turn it at you, and the cops turn in their shields. Teachers, stop teaching. Because it is complete and utter bullshit. Pretty much like I say with all my videos, subscribe down below, let me, and you know, and everything like that. Join in on topics like these. Leave comments. And share, if you come across like this video right now, share it. If you come across Alpha Omega Sin's video, share his. Anybody else that makes videos like on stuff like this, share it. Truth of the matter is, we probably will never be like rid of bullying in full force and a lot of the other problems that plague the youth of America and in other countries. But if you're a decent human being and you have the balls to stand up, it's like if it's 3 guys giving 1 guy problems and you have friends that are good people and you can match their like 5 to 3, I think just standing up and instigating that fear into them that we don't fuck with this person anymore, start a chain of reaction. You never know what'll happen. So again, leave your comments down below, share this video, share the article that I'll include in the box below, because this shit's really important and needs to seriously be addressed. So, yeah. Well, as always, everybody, thank you for watching. I'm One Big Boss, and I will see you all next time.